Monday, December 12th, 2022, regular meeting of the Paris City Council is hereby called to order at 5:30 p.m. For the purpose of this meeting, there is a quorum of the council present. Thank you. Mr. Grayson Path will deliver the invocation, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Councilmember Shatara Moore. Please rise.
Let's pray. Our Father God in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Our Father, we thank you so much for this time tonight in which we can go about the business of the community to serve our citizens which we care so much about. Our Father, we thank you so much for our community. We thank you so much for what you've done for us in this community. We ask you please bless the City Council as they go about the business tonight. Grant them wisdom and discernment as they go about their decisions. Bless all those who have attended tonight. We thank you so much for their interest in our community and being here tonight. We ask that all things tonight will be done in accordance with your will. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Item number 4 is a presentation of the Texas Treasurer Business Award to First Federal Community Bank. Ms. Bedford.
Hi, I'm Sherry Bedford, Main Street Coordinator for the City of Paris. Thank you for Mayor Pro Tem, City Council for listening to this award. Earlier this year, I received a very nice book, and I think there's one on the podium for you, if you don't have one, in the mail with the history of the First Federal Community Bank celebrating their 100 years of service to our community. As I read through the book, I thought about how much this business had contributed to preservation efforts in Paris and also to the Main Street program. They're always contributing to events and showing support with volunteerism. And so I immediately called Marvin Gorley, a friend of mine, and we serve together on the Lamar County Historic Commission, and he is the Historic Marker Chair. When we discussed nominating the bank for the Distinguished Texas Treasure Business Award, this program award is an initiative of the Community Heritage Division of the Texas Historical Commission. It was created in 2005 by Senate Bill 920 and pays tribute to the state's well-established business and their exceptional historical contributions to communities across Texas. Marvin facilitated the nomination form after receiving permission from the president of the bank. Since 2005, over 500 businesses have been honored for their historic significance, from well-known establishments like H-E-B to small-town bakeries, florists, general stores, and many more. It was our pleasure to nominate First Federal Community Bank and the 13th business in Paris to receive this distinguished award. To qualify for this award, a business has to have been in continuous operation for at least 50 years, has to be an independent for-profit business, and have offered the same or similar services over its lifetime. At this moment, I would like to give the floor to Mayor Portugal to share more about the nomination.
Thank you. Business history is local history. While civic buildings, forts, battlefields, and cemeteries are all important sites that provide us with an invaluable historical insight, commercial businesses can also serve as a connection to our more immediate and local past. What's more, these places often figure so significantly in our own personal memories that they become synonymous with home itself. As mayor of the City of Paris, we would like to acknowledge the First Federal Community Bank for their continuous contribution to the City of Paris for 100 years. While they are still in operation, we want to honor them as a place of living history and are proud to play a part in recording their stories and ensuring their legacy for generations to come. At this time, we would like to recognize Mr. Dick Amos, past president of First Federal Community Bank, to share a few words. After Mr. Amos speaks, I will make a presentation. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Paula. and Sherry. Sherry pretty well covered the Texas Treasurer Award mechanics, but I wanted to expand on our bank a little bit. We've been observing and celebrating and enjoying our 100-year anniversary this year. One of the things we did early on, because former publisher of the Paris News, Pat Bassano, just happens to be on our board of directors, I assigned him the task of coming up with a 1 or 2 page tabloid for the Paris News. He in turn turned to his former co-worker at the Paris News, Marvin Gorley, who you've already heard about, and they came up with an 80-pager. But it's really great. I hope you'll enjoy reading it. It's kind of like a moment in time for history, for our bank anyway. And I do want to acknowledge the input of Mr. Gorley and Mr. Bassano, and we treasure this Texas Treasurer Award and will display it prominently in our bank. And thank you very much.
On behalf of the City of Paris, the Lamar County Historical Commission, and the Main Street Project, I'd like to present you and your bank representatives with this honorary award given by the Texas Historic Commission.
Thank you. Sharon, you get in this.
Yes, ma'am. I'd be happy to.
Pat,
It's good, everybody.
Marvin, you get in this. Please.
I'm going to get over here by the girl.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to use 2 phones, okay? Okay, get a little closer, please. Marvin, you're back in it. I guess I'll have that. 1, 2, 3. One more, and now this one. Excellent. 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, got it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Just drag it to the desktop.
Item 4B, persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city council members or employees, as well as individual personal appeals, are not appropriate for citizens' forum. If necessary, the city council may convene into executive session under Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code regarding any item on this agenda. The public, let me say that if you are here to speak on an agenda item that includes a public hearing, you can speak then without a limit on your time. If you're here to speak about the stop sign study, we're going to move that up to after agenda item number 16, and otherwise the public forum is available if you'd like to speak during that. The public forum is now open. Anyone who wishes to address the council, please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Did I understand you that we could speak?
Yes.
Anything? All right. As you know, I'm Glee Emmett. I've been a member of Paris, Texas for 44 years. I have 2 businesses, and I want to speak to the stop sign and slope, 2 two-way traffic, if that's a possibility. When you did the forum you did for that, everything seemed to be calm and polite, and now we're back to the old way, and it's dangerous to be out there. People speed up to go to the next light. It's because people like competition. They want to do that. I just wish that you would consider it, because when we had the tool design people came in 2018, their whole test was pedestrian safety, and we are not pedestrian safety right now. I'm so sorry. I wish we could relook that and revisit that and make that part of your decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Emmett.
Ruth Ann Alsabrook. I live at 208 Fifth Southwest. I've lived there for 24 years now. I'm definitely in favor of the stop signs downtown. For years, I avoided downtown because of those lights, because people barrel through them, and I didn't feel it's safe. I have nearly been hit by cars running the red lights, and I've always taken Kaufman, which involves stop signs every block, and it's never bothered me. So I'm definitely in favor of them.
Thank you, Ms. Alsabrook.
Madam Mayor, council members, my name is Marshall Doherty. I live at 2905 Oak Creek. Until recently, I lived across the street, a block southeast of the plaza. And I too would like to express support for the stop signs or some method to slow the traffic. I commend this body and volunteers and the downtown businesses for the magnificent improvement of the plaza area over the past few years. It's tremendous. The expansion of the plaza is very, very well received. The beautiful lights out here now are just spectacular, led by Susie Harper and a team of volunteers, and it's having an intended effect. And that, combined with the several new businesses, it's a much more vibrant community down here around the plaza. Foot traffic has increased significantly. You see that? That's a good thing. And so I too express support for some method to slow the traffic down, improve the safety for our pedestrians, and benefit the businesses. Thank you.
Thank you, Marshall. Anyone else?
I'm Laura Hutchings, and I am here on behalf of Paris Community Theater. We own the building, the Plaza on the Square, and as theater folk, we keep rather unconventional hours, and so that puts me in a unique position to talk about the problems that are without any hours. We are there all hours of the day and night, and we constantly see the drag races that are going on Lamar. Because there are two lanes parallel, we see people just blaring down the street. It is not pedestrian safe. And we're really excited that since COVID is over, that we are again starting our children's theater. And before COVID, in the last children's play that I directed, I was leaving, and it was about 5:30 in the afternoon, and we had been rehearsing with about 24 children. And as we left the plaza, I was going through the crosswalk across Lamar, and again, we have that double lane, and a driver, because we have that unique situation of a left on red after stop, even though I had the right-of-way, the little man in the picture on the stoplight said that I could go. This driver pulled up to the stopwalk, stopped, and then because the sun, the west sun, was in their eyes, they took off again and hit me in the stopwalk. I am so grateful that it was me and not one of those 24 children who had just been rehearsing. It is not a safe situation. And so please, we ask you to take care of Paris and figure out what is a better way to route our traffic around the plaza. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hutchins. Anyone else wishing to speak?
My name is Carrie Daniel. I live at 111 Lamar Avenue, downtown. I live downtown. I have Paris Yoga Project downtown. My husband and I have Downtown Coffee downtown. We have been downtown in some form, business, living for at least 15 years, and it has never felt like a safe place to walk around in my neighborhood. And I have a 4-year-old that I am raising downtown, and we don't. When you're at home in your neighborhood, I know that there are some neighborhoods that, you worry about the traffic, you worry about neighbors speeding through. But in Paris, I worry about the entire city flying through my neighborhood. This is where I'm raising my child, and it is not safe for him it's scary for him to ride his bike. Because we are downtown at all hours, I invite any of y'all to come have dinner with me one night. Anybody on Senate Council, I don't know if that's allowed. You'll come have dinner with me and just listen to the drag strip in front of our home, in front of our business. It is not a safe condition, especially the block that we are on at 111, because our intersection after our building does not have any traffic signs or stop signs or anything. So it is 2 blocks worth of hauling you-know-what down the street. So I advise y'all to please, also when you hear the results of the surveys and all that, consider that the people who are actually downtown, you're seeing that right now, the people who are actually downtown want the stop signs back. We were told that I'm not going downtown anymore because there are stop signs. I'll come back when the stoplights come back. As a business owner, I saw an increase in business when the stop signs were in place. I have seen a decrease in business since the stop lights have come back. So the exact opposite has been proven. So I hope y'all will continue to listen to the people who have interest in downtown and not the ones who don't really care. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Daniel.
Hello, my name's Dustin Broadway. I'm an owner of Dead Cat Media. We're on 27 Clarksville Street. It's the one with the dead cat on the front side of it. I want to speak up as well for the stop signs. I know a lot of people have talked about the safety, and I agree that it makes it a much more safer community. I also want to talk to the fact that it is faster, not in a speeding manner, but following the proper procedure, stopping and going. I found, being someone who comes down here every single day, weekends too, I find it quicker to go through stop signs than it was stoplights. And that's my opinion on that. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. I see more people that I know have an opinion.
Susie Harper. I live at 545 Johnson's Woods. First, I appreciate this forum. Thank you very much. Second, we were disappointed on the results of the survey. I think we may have to rethink how we're doing this. We need to work with TxDOT, whose main job is, of course, to transport people, make that mobility issue. But I think there's a way to do it if we don't put this subject down and kick it down the road and not address it. I come from this with a story. I came down with 3 grandsons to see Santa Claus and the reindeer. And while the trees are fabulously lit, it's really dark when you get even to the intersection. So we are going to buy ice cream at Sunday in Paris, and there are cars turning left to go north on 271. There are kids all over the place. It is really dark, and it was really dangerous. By the time I got them back to the car that was by Hodges in that parking lot, I was exhausted, to tell you the truth, because it's very nerve-wracking. And I don't think, unless you're sitting down there on the plaza watching this, or you are actually trying to hold on to 5-year-olds, do you really understand the problem? So I think we should have some kind of meeting of the minds, and surely TxDOT can help us do that we can solve this problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harper. Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Martha Howison. I live at 1125 34th Street Southeast. So I'm about as far from downtown and still be in city limits as you can be. But I come downtown every day, at least once. And when the stop signs were up, it was faster. Yeah, you had to stop and it was a little bit jerky, but it was faster and it was safer because you knew people were going to stop, or at least it appeared to be safer to me. And I know that it's just natural. It's not that you're trying to race so much as you're trying to get through that next light before it changes so that you don't have to stop again. And so you do kind of tend to step on it a little bit more. I think that's a natural inclination for people. Of course, I never do that. But anyway, I wanted to let you know what somebody who doesn't live downtown but very much enjoys downtown things.
Thank you, Ms. Howison.
Hello, my name is Leah Emerson. I'm also one of the owners of Dead Cat Media. We're at 27 Clarksville Street. I want to echo what everyone has said so far, just that it does feel safer with the stop signs. We were here with the lights, then the stop signs, and going back and forth, and I agree that we've seen an increase in foot traffic during the time that we had stop signs and a decrease after they were gone. Also, I think with the culture growing downtown and new businesses coming in and more events where the square is being closed, I think all of that is growing, and it creates a culture to have those stop signs to know to stop versus looking for a light to get the go-ahead. So definitely in favor, and our staff, and we often talk about that in the office, that we miss it. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Matt Coyle. I live at 112 South Main Street, downtown Paris, Texas. We actually have 4 loft apartments that have several different residents in each.
Can you lift the mic just a little
Sure.
bit? There you go.
I came to thank you for the opportunity to speak. I will keep it fast and quick. It is my neighborhood. It is something that I know can make a huge impact on public safety, on how we, continue our downtown to be pedestrian safe and friendly, to have people walking. I know that you would do the same for your neighborhood if you had a dangerous situation where you would want to change that. And so that's my point of view, and again, just reflecting everybody else's. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Coyle.
My name is Judy Daniel.
Can you pull it down?
I currently
There
live
you
at
go.
615 Bunker Street. I work at the Chamber of Commerce, so I see the traffic every day. I'm right in the window. I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't watched the traffic the other day when I was leaving work. I was coming back from lunch. I was crossing the street, and I had a green light, and a car coming down First Street, not a car, an 18-wheeler. I heard that vehicle gas his vehicle to make the light. As I was standing there, I wasn't in the street, I was waiting to cross. I always look. I walk across the street like this, but you watching the traffic. So I always look, and our neighbor business lady was standing out there as well, and she heard it as well. He gassed to make the light. And if I had not been waiting and looking for that, I would be a grease spot today on our streets. I'm a careful driver, and before we did the study, I always try to keep my speed and go through the city like you should. And I have been known to set my cruise and at a good speed. And if you set your cruise and are careful, you can go through the lights, or you can go through stop signs. Well, not stop signs, but you could go through the lights and make it. You do not have to speed. Last night I was leaving, not last night, yes, last night I was leaving church. It was dark, and we have the stop signs now. And I was following a vehicle that literally ran a red light in front of me. The lights are not good. I mean, granted, it was dark. There was no more traffic. I didn't see any traffic coming. He didn't see any. He went. I stopped because there was a light. We just have to be reasonable with the way we drive. We need to pay attention to things, and we don't need a speed tracks through downtown. Thank you.
Glad you're not a greasy spot, Ms. Daniel. Could we just have everybody that's here in support of having stop signs stand or raise your hand? Just super. And I would urge you to stay for the presentation of the study and do, hear what TxDOT's thinking is on this situation. Okay? Anyone else wishing to speak for or against any item? All right, the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are approved by single action of the council, with such approval applicable to all items appearing on the consent agenda. A council member may request any item to be removed from the consent agenda and considered as a separate item. Does any member wish to remove an item from the agenda for discussion? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve all items on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 16, receive a presentation from Barbara Nidus with U.S. Small Business Administration about the federal disaster assistance. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, everyone. Good evening. So I represent the U.S. Small Business Administration Office of Disaster Assistance. We're here due to the November 4th tornadoes and severe storms. So it's Lamar County and the surrounding counties can get these low-interest government loans. And it's for homeowners, renters, businesses of all sizes, and nonprofit organizations. And this is including places of worship. So for homeowners, we offer up to $200,000 to repair or replace physical damage, as well as $40,000 for personal property, anything that's inside the home, and your primary car. So it has to be your primary residence as well. And this is where the renters come in. They can get up to $40,000 for personal property and the primary car. That's included. For businesses, we offer up to $2 million to repair or replace the physical damage to your real estate, machinery, equipment, supplies, inventory, anything that was affected to physical damage, as well as an economic injury disaster loan, which is a working capital loan to help you gain your business up to $2 million. So if you suffered any type of loss of electricity for many days, any type of loss, like et cetera, which I've heard that's what was going on here. That's an economic loss. For nonprofit organizations, we offer also the same thing, up to $2 million, physical damage, as well as the economic injury disaster loan. They're up to 30 years. We cover deductibles, no closing costs on the loans. It's for the uninsured and underinsured losses. The loan becomes an option at the end of the day. You don't have to accept it. And also you don't have to wait for your insurance. So you can go along with the loan, and usually a lot of people pay off through their insurance and pay off the loan. So that's why I recommend see what your options are. The deadline to apply is January 17th of next year. And then for the economic injury disaster loan, it is August 16th of next year. The interest rates for home loans is low as 2.31%, for businesses as low as 3.0%, and then for nonprofits as low as 2.37%. We also offer mitigation to help you prevent this additional funds to help prevent for future damage like storm shelters and et cetera. There's 3 ways to apply. You can apply at disasterloanassistance.sba.gov. That's an online. We also have the Disaster Loan Outreach Center, which is at the Red Cross building at 2673 North Main Street, Paris. And it's closing this Thursday, letting everyone know if they do want that one-on-one, they have till then. And also they can, if they were denied, they can get reconsideration as well. So it's just a matter of what you need, and they can ask for status, anything that is included in the application process, you can apply there. And it's Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And we also have a 1-800 number, which is a customer service. So it's 1-800-659-2955. And that is it for me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions
any
of Ms.
questions for me?
Nidus?
Do you have any flyers or anything?
Yeah, yes, I do.
Would love to be able to distribute that.
I can give it to you. Do you want to give it down?
Yes. Thank you.
And we have posted some information on our website and Facebook page as well.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Nidus. Council, I would ask if I can have if you'd consider moving item number 23, which is the presentation about the downtown stop sign study, if we could move that to the next slot.
I make a motion to move item 23 to the next slot.
Thank you. A second?
I'll second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. All right. Item number 23, receive presentation about the downtown stop sign study.
Right.
Staff?
I'm going to start real quick, then I'll turn to Andrew and Sherry. Tonight, the goal here is to give the report from the study that happened earlier this year. We do have TxDOT with us tonight. We'd like to thank them for being here tonight, and I'd like to always, when I get a chance, to thank them for all the work they're doing for our community, and we do enjoy our partnership with TxDOT. And I think I'd like to echo what Ms. Harper said earlier. The goal always is to work and partner with TxDOT on all of our projects, and we've enjoyed a good relationship with them. And so with that, I'd like to thank staff and all our partners on this project here. This has been a challenging project, a controversial project, and from we've seen from the surveys and from the business downtown. So I'd like to thank the staff for working hard, being methodical for this. It's taking some time. We do apologize for how long it's taken to get to this point here, but a lot of thought, review, working at TxDOT, looking at the data there. So we are pleased to bring it here tonight, finally. So with that, I'll turn over to Andrew and Sherry, who prepared a good report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council, City Manager Path. We appreciate the opportunity to bring this before you this evening. You see before you right now the outline of our staff report to the City Council this evening. For those in attendance that don't have that, just know that it will be made available publicly if somebody's interested in the report. So the points that we're going to cover this evening are shown before. We're going to talk about the initial scope of the study as being an initial step to the two-way traffic reversion plan for the community. We're also going to touch on the fact that we had a joint work session with this body, as well as our Main Street Advisory Board, Traffic Commission, TxDOT was in attendance, and also members and representatives of the Chamber of Commerce. From there, we'll touch a little bit on our public awareness campaign, what the intent of the study was as a partial test of the Tool downtown plan for the community, and recommendations for signalized, in place of signalized stoplights, the stop signs and the pros and cons thereof. We'll also touch on an expanded scope of the study beyond the square, some of the costs associated with it, are some of our follow-up discussions with TxDOT, some brief look at some statistics on accident reports, then the survey also referred to this evening, and then what our next steps are. So with that, we'll begin just with the overall scope. You see before you on the screen the location where all the stop signs were placed as a part of the study. From there, we move forward with our partners at TxDOT to implement this and to coordinate it with the conversion of the traffic control signals to a blinking red condition. From there, I'm going to turn it over now to Sherry for the next couple of parts of this to talk a little bit about the public awareness campaign that we undertook as a part of the recommendations from our council and boards and commissions.
Thank you. So as Andrew pointed out, we were trying to do something to kind of forward the tool design plan. And so we did meet and we talked about some different things that we needed to do. We needed to try something. And so we, in a good faith effort, made the attempt because it was too costly to try to change one of the major thoroughfares to a two-way traffic. We attempted to do something that we would test part of the plan. And so we used our stop sign study. And so because we were making a major change with stop signs and we wanted it to be safe, we looked for different ways to get a public awareness campaign. And we worked with John McFadden. He was going to school at Texas A&M Commerce, and he was in a public relations class, and his instructor was Professor Tim Carroll. And we met with them as staff and discussed some things that we could do to get public outreach to the community. And so we developed the slogan, the Stop, Look, and Be Safe, okay? We did reach out to all the students at the schools, all the administrators of the schools, anybody that had anything to do with driving at the school. We reached out and told them we were going to start a stop sign study. We were thinking about bus routes, new drivers, teachers, change of the way the traffic would be in downtown. The Chamber of Commerce was our partner and helped develop this flyer that you see. And they used one of the local media groups to help us with that. So we did 2 weeks prior to the study, and we did change our study a couple of different times, and I don't know if you remember that, but the stop signs themselves, we ordered them, and then they kept being delayed because of the COVID conditions. So it did cause us to have to postpone our stop sign study a couple of different times. But at one point, we did put up the traffic blinking. This is when the study is going to happen, a pre-warning for traffic coming down Lamar, heading into downtown and coming towards town on South Main Street. Several press releases were sent out prior to the study. And we created a web page on the City of Paris that was dedicated specifically for this study with the Stop Look slogan and a link to the map and a link to the survey that we were provided by for TxDOT. So that was available. In our press release, we made note that people could take that survey on our website. We did have several Facebook posts created with a link to the stop sign study survey, and we conducted radio interviews. And the intent of the study, we're going to touch on that again. The study was to look over and try to do something that would help us further the tool design plan that was adopted by council in 2018. And the tool plan did call for the reversion of our traffic from the one-way pairs to two-way and adding stop signs. But like I said earlier, it wasn't going to be feasible for us to just change Lamar. There was a lot of things that went with that, a lot of elements that go with that into a two-way. So in a good faith effort, we tried to test some study recommendations, and that's how the stop sign study came about. So we put those stop signs up, and had we been able to feasibly test the temporary two-way traffic, we can maybe assume that the outcome of the study may have been different. But for more information on the tool study, you can always find that on our city website. You just go to paristexas.gov, type in downtown study, click on it, and read pages 11 through 13 if you're really interested in what the exact tool plan study was. So one thing about the study, when you saw on the map, we initially in our meetings thought it might be good to just do stop signs just around the plaza proper at the four corners, around the fountain. And then after we evaluated with our TxDOT partners, we thought maybe it would be better to expand that out to 3rd Street Southeast by the First United Methodist Church. That's actually the gateway coming in to downtown and leaving downtown. That's when kind of the business district starts to end and you're just kind of going to the next place. And so, but as we talked about it further, just to provide a means of safety, and we weren't sure what kind of stacking would happen on Lamar Avenue, we were advised by TxDOT to try the stop signs all the way up by 8th Street and 6th Street. And the reason we did that in the beginning of the study is because as we were putting it together, it was very important we had the limits laid out where our study should be, because as the study went along, we couldn't say, oh no, it's stacking in front of a downtown business, therefore we need to go back and do this, but we could always take away if we needed to. In hindsight, we didn't see the stacking that was anticipated, but we never did remove the stop signs from 6th and 8th Street. So, okay.
Any questions of staff?
We are
council?
not quite
Oh,
finished
you're
yet.
not through, okay.
It's back to the Andrew part of the presentation. Let me just touch a little bit, as you see the examples right here. This we're a picture of the temporary stop signs that were placed on both sides of the intersections. It's not a moving video, so the lights are staying red, but they did blink in addition to the stop signs. So we had both means of information for the motorist to know to stop. Just touching briefly on some of the cost of the study itself. The city incurred the cost of $16,000 for the temporary portable stop signs that were employed to include the expanded area of the study. There was brochure work done by the chamber with collaboration with city staff. That work was provided at no cost through the chamber. I did just an approximate estimate, trying to come up with some totals here. As you see, about 120 hours went into the study, with about 20 from the chamber's time. I'm guesstimating on TxDOT time, but there were several meetings, and I'm assuming review time internally at their offices, and the city's estimate with all departments at about a total of 70 hours for the study. In terms of there was some information that was collected. That's the normal procedure by the city police department for incidents that occurred. We looked at 4 months before the study, the results during the study, and so forth. And so this basic information was collected and transmitted to TxDOT under normal procedures. From there, again, as indicated by Sherry, people who either came to TxDOT's website or to the city's website, that survey was hosted by TxDOT online. I've got a couple of copies here at the meeting tonight. It's several pages, including nearly 2,500 responses. I've provided one copy of this survey results to the newspaper. There will be one copy of this at the Annex building across the street where my offices are, at the front counter, if anybody would like to come in and take a look at it. And then I would have one other extra copy for somebody that would like to take one this evening. So where are we at this point moving forward? If I can just, I guess, wrap up with some next steps in addition to whatever comments City Manager Path would like to share, and hopefully some additional comments from TxDOT, and we do have representation here this evening. It's staff's intent to continue to work with TxDOT and our city advisory boards and commissions to move a plan forward that benefits our entire community and makes our downtown safer. You've heard a number of comments tonight about safety concerns. I assure everybody in attendance, as well as the council, that safety is of primary importance to all of us that are involved in any changes or improvement for our downtown area. We also want to, explore some short-term, low-cost measures for traffic calming. We've had an opportunity follow up to the study to have some discussions, dialogue with TxDOT. We've talked about some changes to designs of our crosswalks. Most of you are familiar with our Church Street crosswalks that have some detail with design, color, and texture. We're looking into some changes for the crosswalks that would involve, at this point, color and so forth, similar to the brick design. We've also had some discussions as a result of our Plan for Health conference that was held here in Paris back in September, or was it August? Forgetting now. Anyway, some of the ideas coming about are we have painted striped core areas in the downtown that represent the future curb extensions that were not constructed to reduce distance for pedestrian crossing at intersections and crosswalks. So we're looking at creating vertical delineators to give a little bit more safe relief area for pedestrians and to eliminate illegal parking in those striped core areas. Those curb extensions we believe will happen over time. We're under discussion right now with the potential for one or more. Those improvements will happen once the funding becomes available for reconstruction of the street and including new curb extensions and the related crosswalk improvements for those curb extensions. Then we've also had a discussion with support from TxDOT that we may want to look at some ways to make the parking experience a little bit safer, and also as you're backing out currently it's difficult to see. So we may attempt to implement a short-term trial for back-in angle parking in the future. And from there, continue to reassess our approved elements of our downtown plan and look for means to move forward in a safe fashion. So those are our prepared comments this evening, and turn it back over to our city manager at this point.
Well, one of the challenges, obviously, working with TxDOT, they have expressed there are some challenges moving forward with the stop signs. The biggest issue being the crosswalks and the visually impaired crossing signals. They've expressed some concerns about that. So still some things for us to figure out, working with our TxDOT partners. They have expressed a lot of positive toward a lot of our ideas here, and I do think there is opportunity for us to take a step back, have to look at the study, maybe bring in a firm to help us identify what's been done through the tool study, what did work, what did not work, what's been accomplished, what's not been accomplished, what cannot be accomplished, what can be accomplished. And so maybe bring a firm in potentially to help us walk through those with TxDOT. I do want to say it's very important that given this is a TxDOT managed road, that we do partner with TxDOT in all our projects. We do work with them to create ideas as we go forward here, working with them on that. So that's all we have from the report. So,
questions or comments?
Mayor, may I make a suggestion? Can we put together a subcommittee of sorts between the three boards that had previously met and maybe work on this and figure out a way that we can compromise and come to some sort of agreement, or at least to have involvement to see where we can go in the future, per your next steps. I mean, I think that we owe it to our downtown business owners, and then not only that, but people who visit our community, people who are invested in our community. We need this, and I think we need to find a way to tap into a good compromise from all and figure out a good option.
Certainly, we can definitely do that.
All right, well, would staff send a memo to council and see who would be interested in, or you want to right now? I'd be interested in serving on that.
I'm interested.
Of course I am, but, you know, I've got a weird schedule where I don't come back. I'm not in town until 4 o'clock. So that's going to keep me from participating in a way that might be beneficial for everybody else on the committee, so.
Well, we could meet with your schedule.
Yeah, why not?
And I can have staff reach out to, I'm assuming the Main Street boards who you're talking about, and
yes.
the HPC board.
Traffic Advisory.
Traffic Commission, yes. And, and also including TxDOT in these meetings here, communicating with that, so.
Great. I know that our partners at TxDOT have safety as a very high priority, but I don't feel safe downtown. It takes away the pleasure of the ambiance that it now has, because you have trucks barreling through, running red lights and speeding. So.
And other people. It's not just trucks.
Well, that's true.
There are
I've seen a few
other people,
cars speed through. Would our partners at TxDOT, any of you, are more than welcome to make comments?
Well, I have a couple of very specific suggestions to make. So if I don't get to serve on that committee, I'd like to present my ideas to somebody who is serving on that committee. So hopefully they could be considered by TxDOT to slow the traffic down and make it easier for those of us who do live downtown to be able to maneuver around. because I too am sitting at a stop sign at 6 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and there's a red light here, there's no traffic going anywhere, and you know that takes a long time. One of our speakers mentioned that it takes longer to get through downtown with the red lights than it does with the stop signs, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. But I also wholeheartedly agree that traffic is too fast with the lights set the way that they are now. So I got to thinking, we've got a couple of parks. We've got the park that's at the United Methodist Church and their splash pad park, and the traffic is slowed down to 20 miles an hour. And we consider our Culbertson Fountain a park, so that might also qualify for a slower, reduced speed. Perhaps maybe our lights could be set for 20 miles an hour. If you want to go all the way through without having to stop, you do so not at 35 miles an hour, but you do so at 20 miles an hour as you go through downtown. Or there's another at 12th and Clarksville Street and at 19th and Bonham Street. When you pull up, the light will turn green. And that might be another compromise, so that if somebody's trying to cross the crossways, across Clarksville and Lamar Avenue, if the lights will change, if there's somebody sitting there to go and stop, the lights will just change. If you go on 12th and Clarksville, or you go down here to 19th and Bonham Street, you'll know what I'm talking about, because when you pull up and there's no cross traffic going, the light will change for you. So I think that might be another suggestion to kind of ease people through without speeding, or maybe even slow down the traffic.
I love the idea of 20 miles an hour.
Just through the downtown
Yeah,
area.
I love that.
Then they can go back up.
I had a quick question, and I don't think we ever got clarification on this, and maybe we had. Maybe I missed it, but whenever I was reading through our material, it was presented that, we did this study and we kind of knew, I guess, in the middle of it that we weren't going to be able to actually fulfill the stop signs because of safety precautions and such. When was that realized? And I'm just curious. I mean, I just trying to understand a little bit of what transpired.
Well, in our after meetings with TxDOT, they discussed more with us the pedestrian aspects, and that we had not discussed ahead of time. So, yep.
The visually impaired.
Right. Yes.
part,
Yes.
They explained at that time the history of how Paris became the first in Texas to have had that, and to then remove it would be a concern. Having added it and then taking it away was a concern. So that occurred after the study.
I will say that the reason why I made that request to have subcommittees is, whenever I read that we were the first city in Texas to be able to do that, why can't we figure out a way to become the first city to keep that, but still get our way with stop signs, right? And I don't know what the engineering, that's way above my pay grade, but I would like to understand a little bit more, and I think it's interesting. I think it's an interesting concept, but I think we need to figure out a way that we could make this happen and still keep it safe for all, right?
And I think that's the mutual goal. I know the city, the downtown, the TxDOT, everyone has the goal of safety. Right. And so there's just different views. And so I think we need to work through those views together. And I know no one here wants downtown to be less safe. Right. And so we have to work towards what will work that hit as many goals as possible.
Thank you. Thanks for all the citizens who came out, TxDOT, staff. Appreciate everything you do for Paris. All right. Item number 17, discuss, conduct a public hearing and act on an ordinance regarding the petition of Mitch Milam, Texas Land Direct LLC, for a comprehensive plan amendment from low-density residential, LDR, to medium-density residential, MDR, in the city of Paris, Block 281, Lot 6, LCAD 18409, located at 1610 Northeast 15th Street. Staff?
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Before you this evening is a request from Mitch Milam to amend the future land use map for this site shown on the screen from low-density residential to medium-density residential. Again, it's an amendment to our future land use map for this location at 1610 15th Street Northeast. So the recommendation coming to you from the City Planning and Zoning Commission as well as staff is in support of the approval. You'll see the site currently here off 15th. My understanding that upon the request of the landowner, Public Works is out this year, added some fresh gravel to the roadway. I thought it was somewhat unimproved, but apparently it is improved as a gravel road. There was also some brush clearing that was done. The site to the south is available for sale, as you can see on the right, and then the subject property is a little bit further to the left, up and along the gravel road. There's also some areas to the north that are business, general commercial in nature. The changing of the land use plan in this area would serve to create a transitional land use area between the lower density residential, as you see to the south, and the heavier, more intensive land uses to the north. Also, it was recommended by staff to the Planning and Zoning Commission that we initiate further changes to our future land use map in this area. Those hearings will be conducted by P&Z in January, along with a revised application for the change of zoning to this site, which is being passed over this evening on your agenda. So again, staff is recommending approval as requested.
Thank you. I'll now open the public hearing and ask for anyone wishing to speak in favor or opposition of this item. Please come forward now. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Any discussion, council? Was there any opposition?
There was no opposition to the request at all.
What are those buildings to the south? Are those single-family homes or commercial?
To the east of the site or to the right?
Okay.
Those are single-family homes along 17th Street.
Okay, and they were sent letters?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we had one input received on a phone call in advance of the P&Z hearings. That owner is over here to the west of the property. They own one parcel that's undeveloped and vacant, with interest in what was expressed as potential for future development here, but we have no development plans before us at this time.
All right. No further discussion. I'll hear a motion.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 18, discuss, conduct a public hearing and act on an ordinance regarding the petition of Mitch Milam, Texas Land Direct, LLC, for a change in zoning from a one-family dwelling district, number 3, SF3, to a two-family dwelling district, 2F, in the city of Paris, Block 281, Lot 6, LCAD 18409, located at 1610 Northeast 15th Street. The applicant has requested to revise the zoning application, so staff recommends that the City Council pass over this item. So we will pass over it. Item number 19, receive presentation from Jay Hodge regarding the Sulphur River Regional Mobile Authority. Discuss and provide direction to staff. Mr. Hodge, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. Hello, my name is Jay Hodge, and I'm here tonight as the presiding officer and chairman of the Sulphur River Regional Mobility Authority. My objective is to speak with the City Council on a board opening for SERMA and to give the city an update on the Loop 286 project. The SERMA, or Sulphur River Regional Mobility Authority, is a political subdivision recognized by the state of Texas and organized under the Texas Transportation Code. The purpose of SERMA is to assist with, secure funding for, and to ensure the completion of various mobility projects. The goal of our projects are to provide ease of access and economic benefit to the communities that we represent, which are Lamar, Delta, Hunt, and Fannin counties. The governing board of SERMA is composed of 9 total members. There are 2 members appointed by each entity that we represent. Each entity has a county representative and a city representative, plus the board chairman, who is appointed by the governor of Texas. Curtis Finley has served as the City of Paris SERMA representative since our board's inception. Mr. Finley has served admirably for years, but wishes to not extend his term. The City of Paris will need to appoint a representative, and I am happy to work with the city and make a recommendation for the open board seat this evening. And as far as the Loop project goes, the City of Paris and Lamar County have both passed resolutions to support the Loop 286 project. The estimated cost of the Loop 286 project is roughly $90 million, and with the city and the county's commitment to contribute 1%, or roughly $900,000 apiece, this project was able to obtain funding. This project was chosen over other projects because of our community's commitment to ensuring, because of our financial commitment. Thank you for your commitment to ensuring that our community's infrastructure is ready for the future, the city and the county. The Loop project will probably not be environmentally ready until the spring or summer of 2023. TxDOT cannot purchase right-of-way until that happens. The process of purchasing the right-of-way and utility will probably take 18 to 24 months. Letting will not occur after this. The original anticipated start date is 2026, but if everything goes perfect, which we know probably will not happen. However, in that scenario, if everything goes perfect, we could be looking at late 2024 or sometime in 2025, which could be up to 1 year before the 2026 anticipated start date. As far as the money is concerned, it will need to be exchanged 60 days before construction starts. Obviously, myself, TxDOT, and the representative from the City of Paris for SERMA will communicate that well beforehand so everyone's prepared. And the estimated timeline on this is about 30 months from start to finish, assuming that everything goes the way it's planned. The Loop project, it's going to be from Pond Mill Road to Stillhouse Road. It's arguably one of the busiest stretches in the county and the city. The project will consist of building a new overpass at North Collegiate, rebuilding the overpass at FM 195, and adding one-way frontage roads on both sides of the loop. This project is projected to improve safety, and it could reduce crashes by up to 65%, but also improve mobility, improve traffic operations, and address long-term maintenance issues.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Path, I apologize. Should have given staff a chance beforehand. Is there anything you want to say?
No, Mr. Hodge covered it all. So I think the goal tonight is, as Mr. Hodge has brought to our attention, we do need to fill Mr. Finley's vacant spot. So speaking with Mr. Hodge and Mayor Portugal, we agreed that it's best to bring to you tonight for you to decide how you would like to proceed with that. We can either advertise, you can bring back names, so we could request Mr. Hodge to bring someone for you to consider. Staff could bring someone to you to consider. Lots of options here. We did. Janice did research this. There are no defined statutory methods, and this is not a mayor appointment or a manager appointment. It's up to the council for you all to decide your way forward. So we're just seeking your guidance as to what you want to do next.
Does council wish to advertise for applications or accept the recommendation of Mr. Hodge?
I like the idea of advertising personally, but certainly, Mr. Hodge, if you have a candidate, you'd encourage them to apply.
Well, as far as a recommendation goes, I would like to recommend Clayton Pilgrim, City Councilman, which is my recommendation at this point.
Okay.
I think he would serve really well on our board.
Well, I agree.
With that, I would advise that we do check with legal just to make sure there's no conflicts of interest there. There shouldn't be, but it never hurts to double check. We could always bring that back if that's what you'd like to do. We either advertise and bring back Mr. Pilgrim, Councilmember Pilgrim, or however you like to do so. But I would recommend if you were to decide to vote tonight for Councilman Pilgrim, I would recommend we wait until we've had a chance for Ms. Harris to do some legal work.
Okay. How's the rest of the council feel on that?
I think our colleague, Mr. Pilgrim, is plenty suitable. I think we need to check with Stephanie and make sure. I have no issues.
Ms. Moore?
Well, I have no problem with it. I mean, I think we should check with Stephanie.
Okay.
And also, I think we should wait because we have two councilmen out, right?
Okay. Mr. Hodge, we will check with our legal counsel, and then at our January meeting, we will consider your recommendation.
Thank you very much. Our Q1 board meeting is in February, so if the city and the council can have a decision by then, it would certainly help the board. So,
yes, we will. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Item number 20, discuss and act on a resolution withdrawing prior approval for sale of 20 previously bid-off properties. Our tax attorney, Tracy Pounders, is here tonight to give us a short presentation. Welcome again, Mr. Pounders.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me up here tonight. Again, for the record, my name's Tracy Pounders. I'm the Director of Tax Collections for Abernathy, Roeder, Boyd, and Hullett. Coming in February, I will have been collecting your delinquent property taxes for 10 years. It's an absolute honor to do that. Thank you for having me, and thank you for letting me serve this community. I really enjoy having it, and I have an office here in town. So the item before you today, back in April of last year, well, let me go back a little bit further. Times have changed. We'll leave it that. 2 years ago, we had more than 100 properties that we had foreclosed on that we couldn't find buyers for. We basically had a little fire sale. It was an auction, and we sold, I think, 97 of 127 properties at that sale, but there was a few left over. We put those properties up on the internet, and we got offers for those, and that's the offers that we're dealing with tonight. These were very low dollar offers, but we did approve them because, again, what we were trying to do is to get them back out in the public instead of just sitting around not creating taxes. At that time, we submitted those offers over to the county, to the county and the school district through their attorneys. We have reminded them about that several times, but we've never really been able to get a definitive answer, yes or no. Because these are small amounts, all 4 of the taxing units must approve those sales. So by virtue of the fact that we do not have the approval of these sales from the county and the school district for the most part, these offers have been failed and rejected, kind of a pocket veto. They've said no by just not taking any action on it. Now, since then, though, we've created the 5 and 5 program, and Andrew has looked at these properties, and they may very well be able to be used for the 5 and 5 program. Now, so in order to do that, though, the council needs to withdraw its prior approval from that so that it can be put into the pool of properties that are used for the 5 and 5 program. And that is what we're doing tonight with this resolution. It's simply withdrawing that prior approval of sale that was that the council gave back in April of last year. And by officially pulling that, it kills the deal on those properties. And they are struck off to the city. They're being held in trust for all of the taxing units by the city. So at that point, by our other resolutions with their partners, the county, the school district, and junior college, these become available to be used in the 5 and 5 program. And one of the good advantages of these is these have been foreclosed on for a number of years. So the rights of redemption and some of the other rights that tend to cloud the use of these properties, a lot of them are going to be cleared from that. Do you have any questions?
I do have a couple questions.
Okay.
Mr. Pounders, in regards to some of these properties that are in question here, do we have any record of these properties that sell, and then do they actually develop, or is it a perpetual cycle of inactivity, and then it goes back into the sell process, and then liens are forgiven, or taxes are abated, yada yada yada, right? Our goal, right, is to make sure that we collect taxes, we increase that tax base, we have houses in our community, but these are issues we've got to look into, and I think that it's an important matter. So whether it be a legislation or something in the process, I think we need to look into that. I'm not an attorney by any means, but I would love to be able to understand a little bit more if there is something like that in place.
Okay, certainly. In terms of the prior policy we had with regard to foreclosing on properties, please note that all of these properties that we're working with have more taxes owing on them than the property is worth.
Right.
And 65% of these properties, just eyeballing from previous sales, also have city liens on them.
Mm-hmm.
So these properties create a blight on the community. You can't develop them. If you wanted to buy this property, number one, you're going to have a very hard time figuring out who owns the property and finding anybody to be able to sign the deeds. The other thing being is you'd be crazy to be buying them because you're buying a greater liability than the property is worth. So without some type of an action, that property is just going to stay unused. It's not going to be on the tax roll. People are going to be dumping trash. Depending on where it is, they may be dumping tires or toxic stuff on it, which is not good for the community. So the prior policy that we were doing was just to systematically, usually at a rate of 60 to 100 a year, to get these property. We started out with 1,000, by the way. That's how I got here. The previous law firm would not do anything about it, and they were ushered out of the building. But we've been trying to get these out at anywhere from 60 to 100 a year to clear these out. And by us taking the suit and foreclosing on these properties, it cleans the title to these. Whatever judgment liens or prior liens that may be on them, we're foreclosing on those. And we're also clearing out the taxes on it so that they can get these properties and do something with it. Now, in terms of have people been doing anything with the properties in the past, we really don't know. The main thing we were trying to do was to clear the title so they could be used. And typically, we had some people that were just buying and holding them, doing nothing, see what they could do with them. You had a lot of adjoining landowners that just wanted to expand their backyard on that. I mean, these are all good reasons to buy a piece of property, but our policy has changed now where we're really wanting to use these properties to enhance the community by bringing in housing. So in terms of the past, I don't really have any statistics for the 500 to 600 properties we've sold over the last 10 years on what's gone with those things. But going forward on this, our departments here are tracking these and trying to get them into the hands of people who will actually put a home there.
Yes.
And that's what we'd like to see. I hope that answered your question.
No, that answers my question, but I would absolutely like to see us maybe go forward and keep track of it and just to see statistically. I'm a numbers guy. I want to be able to see, what are we actually turning over and actually increasing the tax revenue on, as opposed to it just sitting there. And I can understand for someone that would want to increase their backyard or expand their property, no problem. That makes sense. But if we're trying to do that, then let's see how successful we are. And if it's not working, then hey, we can figure something else out. But I think going forward, if it's okay, maybe we can continue to loop at that and keep tabs on that.
Yes. Well, everything that's being struck off now, and when we put a property up for sale, that first sale, we allow people to buy it, and they can buy it at that minimum bid, which will be the appraised value.
Mm-hmm.
And when we first started this, I was talking with Grace, I don't think anybody's going to buy any of these things. You put up 30 properties up here, you're going to get 30 struck off properties to use in this program. No, people are buying them.
That's awesome.
They're paying the appraised value or more for these properties. We've only been able to keep, a third to a half of them for the 5 and 5 program, which it's great for the community to get the money in, but we haven't had as much of an inventory for the 5 and 5 program on that. But going forward, yes, we're the properties that we are picking to foreclose on are properties that have been identified that can be developed as housing. It's a big enough lot. It's not just a drainage ditch and such like that, so that it can actually be developed. And so going forward from this year, all of these are going to be used for housing to the extent they can. There can be a few of these. There are times we foreclose on a property that when we look at it on paper, it looks like you could do something with it. It's 50 by 125. But then when you actually go look at the piece of property, it really is a drainage ditch, maybe a little swampy. You're really not going to be able to develop it. And so it's odd shaped or it's hard to get to. And it's better to sell it to the next door neighbor so they can, they've probably been mowing it anyway, just keep it look nice. But going forward, our priority is to foreclose on lots that can be developed. We still have roughly another 500 of these properties left. It's a moving target. Okay, there's more to keep coming in each year, in terms of properties where the taxes are more than the property's worth. But we've made a big headway on that. But there's still over 500 of these properties to do, and my guesstimate is probably 300 of them can be developed. Maybe 150 to 200 cannot. So.
Well, the sooner we pass this resolution, the sooner 5 and 5 can get started with those properties.
We're ready for it.
Any more discussion? I'll hear a motion.
So moved.
A second? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Pounders.
Thank you very much.
Item number 21.
Mayor Portugal? Sorry, it's me, Mahir. I wanted to recuse myself from agenda item 21, please.
All right, I'll hear a motion to recuse Councilman Mahir.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. We'll bring you back even, maybe. All right. Number 21, discuss and act on a request from TechMac Development for a variance from distance restrictions under Article 5.03 Alcoholic Beverages, Section 5.03.003. Mr. Mack?
Thank you, Mayor and members of council. The item before you this evening is a little different than the normal variance process that we have in the community. Typically, the Board of Adjustment hears all variance requests. However, this particular request does not fall under their scope of jurisdiction. Rather, it comes under the City Council. And so we have the request this evening, and the owner of TechMac is here this evening with us, and we welcome him. I was pleased to be a part of the ribbon cutting for this site, and looking forward to seeing this new addition to our community completed in the coming year. The request, though, at this point in time is for the spacing distance, as you see in the graphic here, that was supplied by the applicant, for a property that under our city code and state laws require that notification be made to any property that's within this distance of 300 feet. We have two different types of classifications. The measurement's either taken at the line or it's taken from door to door following the proper way that you walk to and from a property. In this case, it's from the line. The subject property, as you'll see again on the previous slide, is only separated by US 271 or Main Street North, hence the request. The site that will be developed is the structure that you see on the left in the concept plan, and within that we have a very small area that will include both combination use of breakfast and bar service area. It will help to support a gathering space or a conference center that's a part of the hotel project before you. The point being, this will not be a typical standalone bar type restaurant facility. It is to support the guests in the location, not only that are guests staying at the lodging facility, but also our community at large that may choose to use this space for programs here locally as well. As a result, staff is in full support of the request this evening for this slight reduction in the minimum 300-foot spacing distance. Communication was made with North Lamar Independent School District. They were notified in mail. I also made a personal phone call, left a message for the superintendent. I have not heard any response back. There has been no concerns expressed. And again, staff is in full support of approval of the variance.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll hear a motion to approve the request for a variance.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries 4-1. I'll hear a motion to return our councilman back.
Motion to.
The motion to bring him
Motion and
back.
a second. Thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. He can return, 4-1. Item number 21, discuss and act on a resolution approving an agreement with the City of Toco as related to sewer service provided by the City of Paris. Staff?
All right. I'll just kind of breeze through the history of this project here. For those who don't know, Toco is obviously a community to our west, about a mile or two outside of our city limits. Back in 1969, the City of Paris and W.E. Thompson, on behalf of the Toco Water Supply Corporation, entered into an agreement whereby they, Mr. Thompson, I'm just going to say Toco going forward, Toco agreed to construct sewer infrastructure within their city limits, as well as the infrastructure to get the sewer from their limits to City of Paris, including a lift station. And then over a period of time, City of Paris would take over the transmission line from their limits to Paris, not the sewer within their community. So with this also, this included Lamar County Water Supply District, who supplies their water to the community. They have a master meter to the city, and so then we would then begin to bill Toco for the sewer services. The agreement originally said that Lamar County Water Supply District would do the billing, and we would pay them for that. That's not been the case for many decades, and so we do bill Toco ourselves directly for that. There have been two amendments since then, 2006 and 2006, 1 month apart, for the Paris Sewer Use Ordinance, as well as an adjustment so that up until 2006, there had not been a rate increase in Toco, and so in 2006, the City Council realized that we can't continue to subsidize sewer there for Toco, so they increased the rates at that point and wrote it to be that it would adjust as our rates in town adjust. Fast forward to 2014, according to our records, in 2014, the City of Toco became delinquent in their payments. They were paying, but not always enough. There's a graph in your attachments there. I think it's attachment E, that shows. You can see the history. You can see up, down, up, down, up, down. We would issue a bill, they'd pay partial, issue another bill, pay partial. That continued on for some years. it never really got too out of hand. I mean, again, we're working with a fellow government. It's not, and we really just can't shut the community off as easily. It can be done, but we try not to shut down an entire community from water. The agreement with Lamar County does say that we do have the ability to shut water off for non-payment, but again, I think that Paris has historically chosen not to do that, again, because it never got out of hand. But in 2020, January 2020, you see in the graph, it did begin to escalate. As you recall, that's when we began to increase our rates for the wastewater treatment plant. And so we began to increase our rates, hence their monthly bills, but unfortunately their payments stayed about the same. So with this, staff reached out to them earlier this year to try, okay, this is getting out of hand. We need to get this corrected. Over time, they then brought me into this here around September, October, and so I began working with them. With this, we met with them on a few occasions. Mayor Portugal was included on that. Mayor Pro Tem Hughes was included on that, as well as Mr. Vine, Mr. Anderson, myself. We learned through the process. We met with their mayor and a council member for TOCO. We learned that in TOCO itself pays for all the water, sewer, and trash for the residents. The residents there don't pay those bills, and so the TOCO itself pays for those services. They use a natural gas franchise fee, at most like we have one. They have a small one there. They use the sales tax from the liquor store there, and there's been some donations over time that goes for that. Now with that, unfortunately, they pay their trash bill, they pay their water bill, but then we're usually the last in line, and so when the money runs out, they pay us what they can, and that's it. But unfortunately, that cannot continue. We cannot continue to run a deficit on this. Hence, we cannot continue to subsidize wastewater for the ratepayers there. I mean, when we set our rates, we base off of cost. It costs to treat all water. There is no magical piggy bank. There is no extra funds that we can just create to do that. Someone pays for that. And so unfortunately, whenever someone does not pay their bill, whether it's in town, where it's at, someone else ends up having to pay for that, which is hence the other ratepayers. And so recognizing that, we approached them. They have been very willing to work with us. I've been very pleased. The mayor and the entire council have been very eager to solve this problem. They need help. They don't have staff like Paris is blessed with having. They are part-time. They do the best they can, so they didn't know quite what to do. And I think there's always a bit of a fear what could be done too, and they didn't know how we respond. And so we've tried to, given they are a fellow government, a neighboring government, we tried to give them some good courtesy with this. I think we've done that. So with this, we've met with, backing up here, at this point here, there is approximately $97,000 owed to the city of Paris. Now, statute of limitations of 4 years plays into that, so the number's in that $80,000 to $85,000 range. And that depends, each month it changes, because they pay a little bit, we charge a little bit, so that's a moving target there. But again, the 4-year number is around $80,000 to $85,000 is what's owed to the city of Paris for the last 4 years. With this, we've attempted to try to think of some good faith efforts to solve this. No solution is without risk. No solution is foolproof. There's a lot of things we could discuss if we wanted to about what could go wrong with an idea. What we have in front of you is our best good faith effort to try to solve this problem. Some of the ideas that were proposed was, again, there is a master water meter for Lamar County that serves their water. We could take that number and do a pro rata share off of all ratepayers there. They're not eager for that, nor are we. That makes there becomes problems there when it comes to delinquency. If someone doesn't pay their bills, it's kind of, is it a fair charge to begin with? And so we worked with our consultant. If we were to pursue that route, we can do number of faucets, we can do number of people, there's a number of routes there. But again, we agree that's not really the best option. So with that, TOCO has agreed that they recognize they cannot raise the money to pay this, and so they recognize that it is now time that that their citizens begin to pay the sewer bill individually, like all other ratepayers in Paris do as well. And so with that, they will continue, as I understand, to pay for the water and trash. But again, they want to contract with us now to turn over payment to individual households with that. So with that, trying to think of a fair way to do this. Again, pro rata not being the most fair way. Lamar County does not go past city limits, and so while they are part of the contract, they're not part of the immediate solution when it comes to reading meters. We've come up with an idea of we would go in, TOCO would reimburse us for this, we would go in and install new water meters at each residence, ones that have radio read technology like we have in town. Although we don't provide water, we can use the meter itself to indicate how many gallons or cubic feet are going through the meter. And so we can then use that to do a more fair calculation per household as to what to charge to them. Again, we would follow the same rules in Paris with the November, January, February averages. Everything that applies to ratepayers in Paris would apply to the residents in TOCO. That goes back to the 2006 amendment there. And then with that, TOCO would agree to pay back the delinquent amount. So residents would pay going forward. TOCO would pay the 4 years going backwards. And so they would continue to pay us for the next 2 to 3 years their monthly payments to eventually make that delinquent amount go away. So, and with that, we would also add on about $30,000 for the installation of meters. Meters do cost money. There's a cost to that. There's also cost to installation there. We have done some estimates there, and we've estimated $30,000. So before you tonight is an agreement that we've drafted that we think covers all this. We've worked with our consultant, Chris Eckert, to look at this over. I've talked to numerous staff on this, from Michael Smith to Doug Harris to Rob Vine to Stephanie Harris. Of course, we consulted with Mayor Portugal and Mayor Pro Tem Hughes. We ran the terms and the idea concepts by their council. They were very much approving of this in concept and form. And so we've drafted this down in front of you. There is a small tweak that I think I will make to it in Section 10 about when the agreement will come to an end. I just want to make sure that we do get paid back the amount there. So I'm going to do a tweak there when Stephanie's back in the office. But with this, I would ask for your comment, your thoughts, your feedback. Obviously, we do have options here. We can do a pro rata option. We can take a legal option. We could also I think work with Lamar County to shut the water off. I don't recommend any of those options. I do think we have an eager neighbor who wants to solve this. And so our recommendation is to have you authorize me to move forward with this agreement with a couple tweaks that I talked about there about Section 10 for make sure we get paid our money back. I would then approach the City of TOCO Council and then run it past them. We will also have Lamar County Water Supply District review this because they have to sign off. It is their CCN, their coverage area, so we need to make sure we have their approval as well. And then with that, if we can get their approvals, I'll bring it back to you for final signature, and then that will, to the best of our ability, solve this problem in a good faith effort. So I'll take any thoughts, feedback, ideas, anything that any council has.
Thank you, Mr. Path. The staff has done, I think, an excellent job of coming up with a solution to a really sticky problem. And the people we've worked with from TOCO have been very nice. They have no paid staff. They have no city taxes. So this is a good solution, I think, all the way around.
I just want to make sure we get paid. With all due respect to our neighbors, I mean, we really care, but we all have constituents. We all pay ourselves, so we want to make sure that they pay. And I just want to make sure on Section 10.
Yes.
Would that be something that would be passed along to council? Or?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, before we
ultimately approve. What I'm looking at here, I want to the way it's worded that. Whichever comes first, that last piece there, I want to make sure that it's worded to where we're going to get paid back the delinquent amount, whether it takes so many months to do that or they get it paid off sooner. Because, I mean, their payments do fluctuate. Right. And so they may pay $3,200 one month. And so it only makes sense that I'm not going to charge them more than they owe us. I'm again trying to be fair. And so it may come in sooner, but I want to make sure it doesn't, I want to make sure that if for some reason they underpay at one point, the month number comes to an end and they still owe us. So I want to reword that to make sure that's clear. That's my edit I'm talking about.
Good deal. I have no other issues besides that. Just want to make sure we're.
And to your point there, I want to address that too. Given the rates are going up for the plant, we've been looking hard at our bills going out and trying to look for leaks, if I'll say. Things that are not being paid. We have another project, another part of town that we're working on that's going to go out in the first part of the year to address that issue. But we're trying to just plug the leaks and so in our revenue stream so that we can meet our debt and that it is a fair, people are paying fairly when others are also paying.
Perfect.
No further discussion. I'll hear a motion.
I move that we approve the attached agreement between the City of Paris and the City of Toco and authorize the city manager to pursue with the agreement with the City of Toco.
Second.
Second. A motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 24, discuss and act on an ordinance granting a vehicle for hire license to David L. Thompson, doing business as Lone Star Cab Company, and pursuant to Section 124 of the Paris City Charter, passage of this ordinance requires 5 affirmative votes. Staff, you have a presentation?
Both items 24 and 25. 24 is Lone Star Cab, 25 is Trinity Black Car Service. Both of them are returning companies that hire vehicles out for people, and they have all their paperwork in order. We're recommending approval for both. We do need an individual vote.
All right. Discussion or questions? I'll hear a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 25, discuss and act on an ordinance granting a vehicle for hire license, Texas Trinity LLC, doing business as Trinity Black Car Service. No presentation, no discussion. I'll hear a motion.
So moved.
And a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 26, discuss and act on a resolution approving the acceptance of the CSJ 2301 Airport Project to make improvements to Cox Field Airport, providing 10% of the total project cost. Acknowledge TxDOT as the agent for administration of federal and state funds for the project. Authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents and future changes related to the project, making other findings and provisions related to the subject, and declaring an effective date. Mr. Strahan, welcome.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Good evening. This memorandum deals with the funding aspect of the overall runway project that's upcoming. Back in 2019, TxDOT came out and they kind of evaluated the runway and the primary taxiways and the taxiway connector, as well as the apron. They were in agreement that it did need attention overall. So you kind of fast forward, so the overall project's going to cost $2.94 million. That's what they came up with. And the way these grants work, we, the city, we have to come up with 10% of that. So if you kind of do simple math, it's $294,000 that we have to come up with. Kind of during the budgeting season, if you will, talk to Mr. Path and Mr. Vine about the 10%. So those funds have been set aside. I believe Mr. Path is kind of this is beating a dead dog now, but. Anyway, we're needing for this project to kind of go forth for budgetary reasons. In the status of the issue, I wanted to kind of point out something that I typed it out. The project will start with the relimitation of the runway, then it'll move to the taxiway, and then to the connectors, and then to the apron as funds permit. So I'm not real sure if the apron's going to get hit on. They'll actually let us know once they come out and kind of do the scope of the work. So just kind of wanted to point out that because overall we are wanting the actual apron to get worked on. Overall, it looks really good. There's really nothing really wrong with it. But so if it does get missed, it's not that big of a deal. But this money was set aside. It's coming from ARPA. Let me see here. Yeah, $294,000 from ARPA. So you got one of two options. On the second option, I do want to point out something. So the first option is to simply just approve the resolution before TxDOT kind of gets rolling on anything. They want to make sure we're going to pay them. So this is pretty much what this is for. The second option, if you can elect to not approve this. But the thing is, if you elect not to approve it, we kind of lose our spot in line, if you will, and then we kind of got to put our name back out there, and then we work on TxDOT's schedule. So in fiscal year 24, 25, 26, if we're ready to come back to them and tell them they're ready, they tell us when they're ready. So just kind of keep that in mind. So, but of course, staff recommends the approval of the resolution to fund the overall runway project.
Thank you. Any questions?
So this rehab on the main runway, that's gonna be a full,
So they really don't know what they're going to do as of yet. So they came out in 2019. So the conditions may worse, or they might not really get that bad. Overall, they're really not that bad. So and then on top of that, they don't know what kind of dollar amount they're looking at. So now we're kind of looking at the inflation aspect of it, and so that's really where that apron kind of comes into play.
at one time there was rumor, or it had been said that there's not rebar in the concrete on the runway. Is that true, or?
Oh, well, I would seriously doubt that, actually.
That's what I thought. But I mean, that was the reason why it was a regional, at one time, I think a regional carrier was looking at coming here, but because of some kind of construction aspect of the runway, they wouldn't
Okay.
do commercial air traffic.
Well, I think from what I understand, like back in the 90s, we had like an air carrier. So
We
I'm
did
not,
when I was a child.
okay, yeah.
Long
So,
time
and then
ago.
being the military actually built that, I seriously doubt that there's no rebar in that.
That's what that was said to me. I was like, that does not.
That doesn't make sense,
But-
yeah.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
If, in your opinion, it's not in that bad a shape, could this money be used toward building the new taxiway we need so badly?
So no, so the runway itself is, it's somewhere around like 10 to 12 years old. You really don't want to go pushing your luck with that, because if we sit there and if we elect to do that, they're going to give us a real pushback, because experience is going to tell them that you don't want to do that. So if we get 2 years down the road and something actually goes wrong with our runway, they're going to be like, well, you had your chance 2 years ago. So you really don't want to do that. You really don't want to, and we've actually talked to them about that, and they highly discourage that.
Okay.
And on top of that, with TxDOT and how everything kind of plays out, you can kind of bring up ideas to them, but they'll override in a heartbeat. So,
And with that too, TxDOT, they tend to do a money generating project, non-money generating project. They reverse back and forth, and so I believe this we're in the non-money generating cycle right
correct,
now,
yeah.
which is where they prefer. What I've been told, they don't prefer to do money generating projects, which is taxiways, because you put hangars on it to make money on that, and so they do more runway projects. And so, but with that, obviously they are looking to give us a substantial amount of money, so we are very pleased with that. So, and we've been saving our years up to do this, and so the years we save up, they then match it several fold. So,
Okay. I'll hear a motion.
Make a motion to approve the resolution of matching the grant for $294,000 as proposed in item number 1.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 27, discuss and act on an amendment to the hangar waiting list policy to reduce the number of days a city-owned T hangar can remain vacant from 180 days to 90 days. And staff?
Yeah, so this is something I kind of been really thinking about, and I actually wanted to wait until we actually had an airport board to kind of bounce this idea off. But there definitely wasn't a disagreement. So currently, the policy, along with the hangar waiting list policy and the hangar lease, more specifically, the vacancy period that you can have in there is currently 180 days, essentially 6 months. I'm looking to reduce that to 90 days. And I kind of look at this 2 different ways. Number one, the airport itself, we do not have like numerous ways that we generate income. It's hangar leases and fuel cells, and that's pretty much about it. So the number, even though an individual can sign a lease and they're paying that monthly hangar payment, we're kind of missing out on the fuel cells. And to go a full 6 months without fuel cells that's a decent amount of money. You can't predict the future, but common sense is going to tell you, like if they're hangared with you, they're probably going to buy fuel, and we got pretty good fuel prices. So knock on wood. Don't mean to brag, but the revenue generating is one aspect you kind of look at it. Another aspect I kind of look at it is that we have a really good healthy waiting list. And to date, we have 31 people waiting to get hangers. So it really doesn't make sense, if you will, to have a 180-day grace period when you have that many people looking for hangers. So on the budget part, it's not going to impact the actual budget, but it will have. If you kind of put a common sense theme into it, it'll help our overall revenue period, just because of the fuel cells. So looking to reduce the waiting period from 100, or the grace period from 180 days down to 90 days. Of course, you can approve that or not make any kind of changes. But staff, along with the airport board, we highly recommend to change the grace period from 180 days down to 90 days.
Having been on the airport board, I totally support this. The argument, I think, was that you might be planning to purchase an airplane, and then you get called that it's your turn to have a T-hanger, and it takes a long time to buy an airplane. Well, start sooner or or lose out. Go to the bottom of the list.
I think obviously if there was a variance on somebody that really had some time constraint, I think we could probably make a variance in that situation. But 90% of the time, people are holding the hangers as property and not using them for their actual purpose. I mean,
and not buying gas.
Yep.
I'll hear a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the amendment of the airport policy to reduce the number of days a city-owned T-hanger can remain vacant from 180 days to 90 days.
Thank you, Ms. Knox. And a second?
So moved.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 28, discuss and act on an ordinance amending Appendix A fee schedule of the Code of Ordinances relating to construction and development fees, making other finding and provisions related to the subject, providing a repealer clause, a severability clause, a savings clause, a penalty clause, and declaring an effective date. Staff?
Thank you, Mayor and members of council. We have with us this evening our building official, Duke McGee. Duke's been with us nearly a year now, been doing a fantastic job, as evidenced by some of the information in your packet on this request to amend the fee schedule. However, I do want to indicate that I stand before you as one of the departments. We have several departments involved in it as a part of this amendment to the fee schedule. Principally, what happens is that we are looking at a period of time when there has been no changes made to the fee schedule. As a result, we're essentially shifting a lot of the burden of the services that are provided. For a variety of reasons, those services increase over time. We have increase in staffing costs. We have increased in the parts that we're using to put in the ground to do water, sewer taps, and so on and so forth. And so across the board, each department has had input and an opportunity to review, weigh in. We've conducted the research of surrounding communities. And one of my initial observations when I first came here is we are artificially low in our fee schedule. And so with that understanding, and on behalf of all the departments, I assembled a memo with Duke's assistance, and I would like Duke to make a presentation this evening.
You guys all got copies of this fee schedule?
I believe it's on our
It's on our pack.
iPad.
Yep. Page 154, 255, it's where it starts.
I'm going to speak mainly from the building department perspective, because that's what I know. Like Andrew said, again, the fire department, engineering, and public works also, their fees. One of the first things, part of this is to combine all the development fees into one section also in the ordinance, so that everything's together and easy to find and locate. When we first got here, we did the development manual. We introduced a lot of new permits to expedite the permitting process. None of those permits actually had a fee associated with them in our ordinance. So part of this is placing a fee with each permit it's applicable to. Actually, in the building department part, if you go through here and look, there's not a lot of raised fees. I don't think we're, moving the fees way up. Some of these are just from permits that didn't have fees associated, or separating the commercial fees from the residential fees, making a commercial permit, saying instead of coming in and getting an electrical permit, one fee, there's electrical permit for commercial, electrical permit for residential. In here's also a fee study, comparison from other cities, close cities by us, our populations that are close to ours, also a time and motion study. So basically what I could do is just answer any questions you might have in relation to that. I think that would be the easiest way than going over the whole thing.
Are these fees comparable to other cities in the region that are about our size?
Yeah, very, very. Actually, we're right in there. We're under some cities. We're right at some cities. If you look at our residential fees, it looks like we may be over. If you look, we have a 50 cents flat fee for residential permit per square foot and 30 cents square foot for renovation. However, other cities, you'll see some that says 36, but then they'll have an additional fee for that permit. They say, okay, where your electricians have to validate, and there's a fee for the electricians to validate. Your plumbers have to validate. There's a fee for your plumbers. So when you start adding all those fees up in other cities, we're actually less expensive at 50 cents a square foot for a residential permit than they are, because we're charging kind of a flat fee. I like those personally. They're not hard to figure. You don't have to go in and, as you're, somebody that's not familiar with the building process, a homeowner, starts trying to add up all these fees. It gets real frustrating when it's just a real, it's a lot nicer having a flat fee going, hey, it's easier to understand. All the commercial fees are pretty much standard across the board, almost throughout the United States. We use the ICC fee table with no area modifiers, so it's a pretty, in the area modifiers for our area, we could actually jack the fee up and still have natural, or be on the national average, but we're just taking the ICC fee table straight across the board, no area modifiers or anything like that, so we're actually still pretty inexpensive to develop in.
Any other questions or discussion? Ms. Knox?
I notice here that the vacant building fee is $500 for the first year and $50 increase each year thereafter. But yet you go to the historic district and it's cut in half to $250,000. Why is that?
I got this one. The reason for that is we adopted a new ordinance in the past year, applying it for the first time to residences in HP2, in the residential historic district. So our commercial buildings, that was the initial fee. That does increase, as you noted, annually. For each year, it continues to remain vacant. So the lower cost was for residential properties.
It doesn't say that, though. It says historic districts, which would include the downtown commercial district as well. I was just curious about that. It seems a little counterproductive to me, since the historic districts have a tendency to have homes that are...
Actually, that is a typo. It should say residential. We'll get that corrected. That should be included in your motion. That's a great catch. Thank you.
That's it. It's at 9.6.2 in other on the fee schedule. Item number, or point 2 would be change from historic district to residential.
It would definitely not be our intent to change what was just recently approved, which did include a new fee schedule in that amount.
I'll just say, I think from a building purpose, you guys are pretty quick. when it comes to inspections, if you call for an inspection, you get it done sometimes that day, if not like a couple hours within that time frame. So I just want to say, I think you guys are doing a great job. I appreciate you guys. I think we've stepped it up from years past, and it's pretty evident. So kudos to you guys. And I think these are reasonable rates. I've done a little bit of research on some communities around us, similar sizes, and this seems to be pretty fair in between, so.
Okay.
Except for the historic district vacant buildings, I don't think that's fair. I do not think that's fair at all. Cut it in half, no, I don't. But we can always see, we can float it out there to our partners and see how they feel about it.
Okay. Do I hear, well, I'll wait for Ms. Moore to return.
And with that, while we're waiting for Ms. Moore, I'd like to just add, I think the point that I think is key in all this, we didn't really discuss a whole lot tonight, was we're trying to shift the cost off our taxpayers. And so we're trying to shift the cost onto those who obviously are benefiting more directly by the improvement there, and trying to always watch that property tax, and whether it's through reducing it or shifting it to another purpose we can use it for. And so these increases and adjustments here will help offset some of that, and we can utilize it in other ways.
Okay. All right. I'll hear a motion if you want to include the change that was recommended.
I got a quick question.
Correction.
I'm sorry. I kind of want to play into this a little bit. When did we decide on the historic fee again? That wasn't too long ago. Was that correct?
That was middle of summer, I think, is when we
Yeah,
did
it was a couple months
I
ago.
think it was about April or May of this year.
At a year's time, can we go back and potentially review that? Because I mean, I think that's a fair point you make, and if that's been established already, I mean, I tend to agree with Councilwoman Knox on this matter. I mean, if it's a fair assessment, why not look at it and see?
Absolutely, yeah, we can review a fee at any point that you want to.
Certainly.
Is that something fair?
That would be fair, sure. I mean, I just think that, there was a lot of hard work put into this, and the whole point was to try to keep vacant houses from popping up all over the historic district. And if you cut it in half in any place else in town, you're going to pay twice as much. To me, that doesn't make sense, because this was to protect the historic district from what's happening all around us. The neighborhoods disintegrating.
We're going to get a lot better feel for this once we actually start implementing the requirement for the payment on an annual basis.
But I feel like that will give us enough time to be able to reevaluate. I would assume, correct?
One of the recommendations I had is that because of the nature of development, we would recommend at least an annual review of our permit fees and related development fees, so that we can adjust them as the market goes, I guess, either up or down.
Well, Mayor, I'm very sensitive to the historic district and the encroaching deterioration that doesn't seem to ever quit. But that does not at all impact the work you've done as far as getting our permits and our fee structure and all of that. That does not impact that at all. I think you've done a very commendable job, and I appreciate so much all the work you've done, not only on the fees, but also on the processing, as well as far as accepting permits and applying for permits. I just noticed this on here, and I thought that was quite shocking. So I did not mean for that to hijack your efforts at all. You've done a very commendable job, and I appreciate you for that very much.
I got just one more additional question. At the end of a project, once you've done the CO, do you guys customarily do like a survey, just to like ask, hey, how was your experience working with the community? Did you think that these fees were acceptable, or what do you think we could have done something better? What would you want to have added? I'm just curious.
Not so much as an individual survey, but we do constantly talk with the contractors, the people that interact, to look for better ways to improve. Upcoming, did we talk about future plans in the department?
Don't want to get too far off the topic on the agenda.
Sorry, I was just curious. I mean,
there's some of that planned for in the future as
Okay.
far as doing, to customer service type stuff.
We will be upgrading to a different software. We've also, as you know, as a part of this past process, implemented the ability for people to monitor their permits online. That is an increased service without any additional cost being imposed. I'm assuming there may be opportunity within that software to implement, follow-up survey type questions across the board for all permit holders.
And that software is supposed to be coming online to us in January, February. So once we get that, we learn how to use it, we can implement some other stuff.
Good deal.
Thank you. I'll hear a motion.
So moved.
And a second?
I'll second.
Is that with the edit to make residential district there, the typographical edit there?
Yes, with the typographical edit.
Yep.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, staff.
Thank you.
Item number 29, discuss and act on an agreement with Vive to provide internet services for the city of Paris.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council members. Thank you for your time. We are again here. Well, like I tried to explain the last time, our current infrastructure, our network connection is with microwave. And now we have the opportunity to get internet connection through fiber optic with internet dedicated, with Vive provider, and get a better good services with them. And also we can save money because our current expense with infrastructure we already have, we spend $51,200 per year. And with this solution, we're going to spend around $43,000 and $800,000. Then our saving, it's a couple of dollars, Getting better internet. And we have a recommendation. Approve or reject the agreement with Vive, to get these internet services. I try to be really shortly, because the last time I spent a bunch of time, and that's why I'm here. Yeah. I don't know if you have questions or.
Any questions? It's nice to hear
It is
something
Vive.
that's
You
not
can
gone
have whatever you
up,
want.
going down. So we understand Vive is pretty new in this market and obviously making a positive impact.
Well, also, taking that comment, they are local. I make a couple of research with AT&T and other providers and take a look time for respond, and they respond immediately. Their service level agreement is 99.99, the service available for the internet, and I think it's a good option for us, for the city.
Right. We appreciate Celso and Michael. It's a small department, but mighty.
Thank you.
Any discussion?
I'm on board. Grayson, I'm sure you've vetted and put all that's fine with me.
Okay. I'll hear a motion.
Make a motion to approve the ordinance to City Council to change internet providers, option number 1 in our packet.
Second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Welcome. Item number 30, discuss and act on an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Paris, Texas, adopting revisions to the city's home rule charter in conformance with ordinance number 2022-084 and ordinance number 2022-085, making other findings related to the same, providing a repealer clause, a severability clause, a penalty clause, and providing an effective date. Staff?
I'm going to fill in tonight for Ms. Harris. As the council knows, she is ill tonight, why she couldn't be here. Ms. Harris and Ms. Ellis have worked hard to take the election that we had recently from the charter and turn that into ordinance form so we can codify our charter and get it online. As you are aware, Proposition A through D and then F through X were approved. Proposition E failed, so that has not been included in this edits here. But otherwise, everything else has been cleaned up. All the sections have been renumbered, and the language has been added there. So with your approval tonight of this ordinance, this will be your final step to complete the charter review process, and we'll have a clean new charter as soon as the company can put it online.
This has been a almost 2-year project, so as the mayor who's previously been referred to as he in the charter, I'm pleased to support this. Any discussion? I'll hear a motion.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 31, convene into executive session pursuant to Texas Local Government Code, Section 55.072 of the Texas Government Code to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property if deliberation in an open meeting would have a detrimental effect on the position of the governmental body in negotiations with a third person, and Section 551.087 of the Texas Government Code to discuss or deliberate regarding commercial or financial information that the governmental body has received from a business prospect that the governmental body seeks to have locate, stay, or expand in or near the territory of the governmental body and with which the governmental body is conducting economic development negotiations, or 2, to deliberate the offer of a financial or other incentive to a business prospect described by subdivision 1 as follows: Project Red Maple, and Section 5.071 of the Texas Government Code, consultation with attorney to receive legal advice from the city attorney about 1, pending or contemplated litigation, and or 2, on matters in which the duty of an attorney to her client under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflict with this chapter, to wit, A, City of Paris versus Essent Healthcare, and B, Houchins versus City of Paris. The city attorney is not here with us tonight due to illness. We will be consulting with outside litigation, both in person and by telephone, as permitted by the Texas Open Meetings Act. The time is...
Mayor.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I just want to make note. I need to recuse myself off of the third item, subcategory A, City of Paris versus Essent Healthcare.
Thank you.
Sorry, I just wanted to note that.
All right. I will hear a motion to recuse Councilmember Mahir on Part 3, Section 551.071. Do I hear a motion?
Moved.
Second.
Second, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-1. All right, and the time is...
Motion carried 4-1, didn't it?
Oh,
or 4-0.
does he get to vote?
No.
On recusing himself?
You all always have. And
Oh, okay.
we can
All
have
those in
Stephanie
favor,
record
please
it.
say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Motion carries 4-1.
Been a long night.
All right. Anything else? The time is 7:38, and we are convening into executive session.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Item number 32, reconvene into open session and possibly take action on matters discussed in executive session. The time is 9:07. And City Council is in open session. I will hear a motion to authorize the PEDC to proceed with finalizing the purchase of land as discussed in an executive session.
So moved.
Second.
I'll hear, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries 5 to 1. We did not readmit.
5 to 0.
5 to 0, sorry, we didn't admit Mahir.
Make a motion to admit Mahir back from.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of readmitting Mahir, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries
Sorry,
5
guys.
to, that
to
carries
0.
4
5 to
to
0.
0. Okay, now, we'll vote to, I'll hear a motion to authorize PEDC to proceed with purchase of land.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No? Say no? Okay, motion carries 5 to 0. Item 33, consider and approve future events for city council and our city staff. Nothing? I'll hear a motion and a second for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second. I'll second.
So moved.